And welcome everyone to the Ginette Biro Podcast. I'm Ginette Biro and I am so excited you guys are here again today listening to these messages because I have, again, as always, I think all the messages are great, but I guess I'm a little bit biased. However, Spirit had a really neat message and they were very adamant in how they were sharing it and the importance of it, because it might seem like it's something that's so simple, but the idea is it's so impactful. And so the title of what we're talking about today is the magical power of words and omens in October and for Halloween. And so I've been channeling the three guides of light, as you guys know, for a while now, since kind of COVID started. And they are these wonderful beings of the angelic realm. They are light, and they have just been coming in and sharing so much stuff over the past several months. I have just absolutely come to love and adore them and honor them, and they're around me quite regularly now, which is great. So they're kind of like my buddies that, join me kind of everywhere I go if I need. So I love when they come through, and I love when I can share the messages from them for you guys. And so there's a lot of stuff that they had to share, but with kind of a simple concept. So I'm going to invite you guys to come back to the simplicity of it and the why. And so they started off by saying they wanted me to remind you guys about how October is quite a power-packed month. And so if we start astrologically speaking, October has 2 full moons in it. So we have a full moon on October 1st, and we have a full moon on October 31st. So the first entry into the month, we have a full moon, which is a culmination of everything from September and before. And we have this absolute fresh cycle as we move through October, and it culminates yet again within that month on Halloween. Now, the power of a moon cycle is that we can grow with our intentions in the new moon and complete them as we reach the full moon. And so when we're going full moon to full moon, we have so much power behind us in our ability to clear, manifest, create. And these are very, very creative times. As some of you guys saw, I posted that we just came out of Saturn retrograde as well. And so we are in this kind of action energy. Now, within that action energy, we're also going to be seeing a lot of stuff coming to the surface, which I'll talk about a little bit later in this podcast. So that's why October is quite a power-packed month. And also, we haven't seen a full moon on Halloween for about 18 to 19 years. So this only happens about 4 or 5 times per century. And so think about the fact that this is happening in 2020. This is supremely powerful. And so this moon is known as the harvest moon or the hunter moon. I love that it is the harvest moon because there's a lot of talk about harvesting right now. Not just in the physical sense of what farmers are doing or what I like to think I'm doing with my little garden in the backyard that I just am having so much fun harvesting from. But there's an energetic harvest where we get to see the fruits of what we have planted and tended in our spiritual gardens as we've moved through 2020. So again, this is exciting times. And so the three guides of light indicated that there may be lots of changes and challenges emerging between these moons, but we really need to look at how we view anything that comes up as a challenge. And so there's a special message to share regarding words and omens during this moon that will hopefully kind of help you to generate more peace as we move through it, because this experience on this planet is not about struggle, it's about understanding. And if we can really embrace that idea, then we are flying. So they wanted to start with words. So words they're saying, and again, this is stuff that they brought through. So words are so important. They're more important than you know. Words have a vibration that create a signature. So they're more than what you speak. Words are expressed in any form, whether it's thought, written, intention, and spoken. They all carry a frequency, and that frequency has an impact on everything around you. Even thoughts are made up of words, and words are an accumulation of what you tell yourself inwardly. And so we've been doing a lot of work internally the last while of, what we tell ourselves in our mind, what we're willing to move through. And the invitation now is to look at the frequency and the effect of our words externally. So not just in the self-talk, but in what we're passing externally from us. And so we know that words have the power to help and to hurt, but it's more than that. They're saying words create manifestation because of the frequency. Think of mantras, right? Mantras are a series of sounds in often a Sanskrit word, but a mantra could really be anything, but a series of sounds that have a frequency that help to create a thing. And that's what we do with words all day long. It's a sound frequency. And so you put out intentions that come from the words based on the thoughts and feelings. So if you manifest based on thoughts, feelings, and words and intentions, then what you think and feel really does create a reality, even by frequency alone. So they said, we wish to encourage you to be very conscious of the words that you use within this next month. They will have more impact than you can imagine. So much is surfacing this month, and you need your words to speak truth. Speaking truth will help create the frequency humanity needs to support ascension and to create the new earth. In your world at this time, words have become distorted and convoluted. And I am sure you guys are all nodding your head right now saying, oh yes. There's such a deep distortion right now, and they go even deeper. They said, this is connected to your media as well as your politics and business and marketing. Words are used to generate a story or elicit a response, or to convince you to buy something. Words are used to manipulate and to brainwash. Words are hiding and distorting truth. Which, if any of you guys have watched on Netflix any of the shows that are coming out these days about these concepts of the manipulation in marketing or the manipulation we're seeing in certain media outlets, it's everywhere. And so when we take it deeper, it's actually starting to manipulate the way in which the words resonate with us within. So they said, even in common speech, words have become distorted and lost their true frequency and meaning. So when you say yes, sometimes you actually mean no. And when you say yes, when you mean no, you change the frequency of the word yes and its meaning for yourself. Yes, in some cases, can start to mean that it is making you do something you don't want to do. So then yes becomes a distortion. When you say no and you should be saying yes, no then becomes a way to play small and hold yourself back. So then when we start to distort even the simplest words as yes and no because they're not based on our actual truth of feeling, then the words that we're putting out are creating that reality of distortion, which I thought was amazing when they were saying it. And again, we technically know this, but this reminder, especially in these times, I thought was just so powerful, so powerful. So intentions to speak kindly are not enough, they said. You have to understand the words in communication are an aspect of consciousness. So if you're not conscious of the words, you can create disharmony in the energetic ripples moving outward. You cannot be complacent in the way you speak. You have to speak from the heart and from truth. Be very conscious of the words you speak out loud to others and to the world. Speak based on truth. Start to recognize the truth in the words around you by listening to the stillness deep inside. Whether good or bad, get back to the root of truth. Words hold frequency, and that frequency changes the world. And yes is what I think when I heard that. It's simple, right? Like I was saying in the beginning, it's something that's so simple, but it is so impactful. It starts from there. And so they went on to kind of give an example here. And so they said, connected to the month of October, we wish to share an example of a word that has become distorted and will be important this month of your Halloween. And that is of the word omen. We wish to start sending you more omens, but that requires you to understand the true, not the distorted meaning of the word. Omen is basically a sign, but a prophetic sign. And it has always been a neutral word, and there was an emphasis on that, neutral. But even if it seems bad on the surface, it isn't always bad underneath, meaning neutral is not good or bad. Omens have come to mean, though, in our society, a bad sign. Society has changed the meaning and has associated it with fear. So even sometimes for many people, we start to think that even prophecies mean fear. I don't want to know anything about the future because I'm afraid of what it might be. But what if it was something that was beneficial and exciting and something that could lighten your heart? Or even if it was something that maybe was going to be a challenge, well, then you have the forewarning and you can metaphorically pack your bag with the gear needed to get you through that challenge. That would be a benefit. And so they said omens will be coming into play for more people. And that, again, even if it seems bad on the surface, do not associate it with fear. Even if you take, for example, they use the death card in tarot, right? We look at the death card and we think, oh my gosh, someone's going to die, right? And it is an ominous card. It looks scary most of the times. It's a skeleton with a scythe or a sickle. And, it's a heavy looking card, but what it means is an ending of something. And sometimes an ending to something is a beautiful point of liberation, of change, of freedom. It doesn't always mean a negative ending, but we have to undo that fear reaction. And so they said, again, an ending allows a new beginning, even in death. While it is hard for humans to understand, it is not bad. It is a new beginning. You have to learn to feel the deeper energy of the words and omens below the societal response. We want to come in with more omens more often to help you in your journey through these challenging times. And so an omen is to prepare you. The planet is not designed to suffer, as many of us think 3D is suffering. And honestly, I myself have been in that spot too, where I've been like, why am I here? Why am I on this 3D planet? It's just a place of suffering. So many people are suffering. And you get caught up in that low vibe way of thinking. But they're saying the planet isn't designed to suffer. You are not here to suffer, but you are here to learn a lesson. And as soon as you can shift that belief that these are lessons that you chose to learn in the wholeness of your soul, as opposed to victims being punished, then you will change your experience. If you see it as a whole, you won't see it from the point of being a victim. You'll say, well, this makes sense because the lesson is this, and this is of value to me because of this or that. So again, they're asking us to see from a higher perspective, but this perspective is what changes our experience here. So they said omens allow us to foretell things to more people so people can work in greater harmony. We want to help bridge the gap of the experiences you are to have to allow you to feel better prepared. But to do so, omens cannot be taboo and fear generating. Omen has its own beauty, its own connection to earth. We want you to rewrite the meaning of omen and change the frequency back to its truth. The truth comes in the energy. This way we can share the power of that high frequency energy of omen. Come and understand this, is their invitation. And so they said, we invite you in connection with the double full moon cycles this month, with their powerful lunar energy, to be very conscious of the words you speak. Notice your words. Be conscious every day of the words you put out. In addition, recognize your truth. Add to the truth. Watch for the truth. Feel for the truth, because you are creating this new earth and you need to create it based on truth within. If you became more conscious in your words, your experience will come with more ease. Speak truth and live truth. And so they're emphasizing that because, again, it's very simple, but we have become distorted to even what our own truths are. And some people will say, well, I don't even know what the answer is. And so the invitation in that is always feel for it, what feels in alignment. So we invite you to watch for omens. We wish to give you signs so that you can prepare yourself. See omens as a helpful sign or a guidepost for your journey. And as always, we wish you love and we wish you peace. And the three guides of the light always wish to give us these understandings to brighten our experience, to help us harmonize our experience instead of struggling through our experience. And so when they came in and brought this message, there was such a light energy underneath it. There was such a bounty and abundance of positivity in it. And so that was really what they wished to bring through in sharing this information. So I really hope you guys find this Halloween moon message inspiring. They said that much will be surfacing this month. They showed me, and again, I'm very dominant clairvoyant, and so I get a lot of visuals to understand things. And so they showed me a barrel of water ready for bobbing for apples, the bobbing for apples thing. So this bucket of apples are dumped in the water and they sink to the bottom first, and then they start kind of like bobbing upwards. And within that, each apple represents stuff that's going to come to the surface throughout October, right? They're apples, but some of them are bad apples. So some are going to be bad apples that surface, and they represent the distortions of truth that are being made to surface so that we can pick out those bad apples and simply play the joyful game of bobbing for apples with good ones. So truly, may your words bring you treats, and may you clear the distortions of tricks and bad apples through the truth. May you find your truth. May you come closer to it and harmonize with it this month, because as Halloween approaches, the veil's thin, and this can be a really beautiful thing. It doesn't have to be dark and ominous. It doesn't have to be scary. Just as omens are not scary, they're helping us move along our path. So feel underneath it for the truths. So with that, I wish you guys a wonderful last few days of September here as we enter into October with the first full moon. May you use it in ceremony, in closure, in releasing, and with inviting the newness in the journey of October. I hope you guys have a really good day.